This video is brought to you by my supporters on Patreon. Hey guys, I'm here with a video showing you how I made the gauntlets for my Tyrande cosplay, and this is the armor version of her from Heroes of the Storm. So what I did first was I drew up some patterns and then I traced that onto EVA foam. I used 4mm EVA foam, however 6mm EVA foam would work perfectly fine as well. And these templates are available on my store Envy and Etsy if you just want to skip the patterning step. Once that is cut out in the EVA foam, I go ahead and shape the piece using a heat gun. And by shape the piece, I mean I just like round it over so it will be easier to glue together, which is what you're seeing me do now. However, I didn't get any footage of me actually heating the piece up, so sorry about that missing step, but hopefully it's easy enough to understand. You just heat up the foam with a heat gun and then you form it either around your arm, or you could just shape it and round it out by hand because it's not a very complicated shape. You just need to bend the foam so that the back seams meet and hold it in place for a little bit, and then you can perfect the shape later after it's fully glued together. To glue together all of the pieces on this armor piece, I'm using contact cement. To know how or learn how to work with contact cement or whatever glue you are using, you're going to want to read the instructions on the packaging because every product is different. Once the piece is totally glued together, I just take my Dremel and sand down the seam lines to smooth those out because they are always a little bit rough and need some touching up. I also forgot to mention that I did glue the front of the armor piece together before heating it and shaping it, just because it made it easier to work with and shape into shape closer to the shape that I needed, which is why there is a front seam that you see me working on here. Once the entire base of the gauntlet is glued together, I can start working on the detailing, and to do that, I'm using these EVA Foam Bevels that I got from Cosplay Crafts. The link to that shop is in the description box below, and if you use my link, it gives me a little bit of store credit to use on future purchases. Wow, I can't speak. Anyways, if you use that link, it will help me make more videos and more costumes, and comes at no extra cost to you. So if you realize that you're going to be buying some supplies from there, use my link to do so. Anyways, for the outer edge of her gauntlet, I'm using 20mm EVA Foam Bevels, and that is what I'm using to line the top and bottom of her gauntlet, and I'm just measuring them out as I go along. So I glue down one end at the center back seam and then wrap it all the way around the gauntlet, gluing it down as I go, and then cut off any excess once I hit the back seam again to figure out how long I need this to be so I don't have to measure anything, basically, because I hate using measurements and math, so I skip that. When I glue bevels along the top, I start at the center front rather than the center back, only because I have to cut the bevel at an angle since it does meet at a weird corner, and the only way to get it to fit in that corner is by cutting both ends at an angle. Like, you can't just curve it with that point because it is so pointed that there's just too much EVA foam and it's not going to make a very nice pointy point. When it comes to adding the detail in the center of the gauntlets, I use 10mm EVA Foam Bevels, simply because in her reference photo there is a difference in size between the two, but also because 20mm EVA foam is way too big to fit all of that detailing in that gauntlet if you were to use that size. Like, it's just, there's not enough space. So 10mm EVA Foam Bevels it is. I'm going to have an entirely different video talking about how to attach bevels to one another in a way that makes them flow. But basically, depending on how you're attaching two pieces, you're going to want them to cut them at various angles. Otherwise, it's going to just look a little bit funky. So you're going to just want to make sure that the top edge of the bevels are always kind of flowing together. Once all of the bevels are attached, I take my Dremel and sand down all of the edges to smooth out those seam lines. I also sand down any edge where the bevels connect to one another, just to make sure that everything is really nice and smooth, because I wanted really hard to try to hide all of the seams in this armor as best as I could. After that was all smoothed out, I primed the entire piece with wood glue using about 5 layers, or doing about 5 layers. And after that, I then coated the entire thing in this sandable filling spray paint primer in the color white. So usually I use Bondo's spot putty and gap filler to fill in my seam lines to try to make everything smooth. However, for this, it was such like a huge armor set, I wanted something that I could coat all of the pieces in very quickly just to save on time. So I opted for a sandable primer instead, coated that, then sanded it down to try to make everything really nice and smooth. However, I did notice there was still some rough seams, so for that, before applying the primer, I put the Bondo's gap putty and spot filler into those seams, sanded that down, did another 2 coats of wood glue, and then used the spray paint primer. After that, it was time for painting. I applied another coat of that spray paint primer since the base of her armor is white, and I happened to just go with that since that's what I had lying around and had a lot of. However, you could use any kind of white paint you have lying around if your primer is a different color, or if you just happen to want to save that just for sanding and priming specifically. But I just used it like normal paint because it is still paint. Anyways, if you do use a white paint, what I found easiest was buying a matte white paint, because that is a lot more opaque than the glossy white paints. That takes a lot more layers to get it to be a very opaque coat. So that's another reason why I also liked using this primer, is it covered it in just a couple layers rather than having to do like several before the thing was like fully white and you couldn't see any of the black foam underneath. After that, I decided to move on to shading, and to shade these armor pieces, I opted to shade with this greenish bluish color because it does look like that's what the shadows on her armor are colored in reference art and reference photos, and it also looks like her armor is tinted that color, so I figured this was the best way to represent it. And to do that, I used an airbrush. However, you can totally do this by hand using acrylics preferably, and just mixing that with like a little bit of water to help you blend it out more. I will also note that this is my first time using an airbrush machine, so forgive me if it's like really rough and spotty and not that great looking. It was a learning process. This was a learning process. The paint job was obviously a little bit rough and I made some mistakes. So to fix that, I went back in with some white airbrush paint and just kind of airbrushed around the edges and over any mistakes I may have made. I also found that this airbrush paint was also pretty opaque and required only a few layers, and even sometimes one, to just cover up other colors that might be lying underneath and other mistakes that I had made, which is pretty great. It's a really good white paint. Once that green base was done, I went ahead and started painting the silver pieces silver. I made sure to mask off all of the areas that were already painted that I didn't want to, paint over because they're finished being painted with painter's tape. And once again, I used my airbrush to paint on this silver piece or these silver pieces. However, you could totally use a different type of paint if you want. Acrylic or even spray paint would work fine. Once all of that painting was done, I still felt like the armor needed a little bit more depth to it, so I went in with a slightly darker tealy green color and shaded just around the very edge of all the beveled pieces. So on the white part where we had laid down the green, towards any edge or seam line, I guess you could consider it, that's where I laid down the green, and then I blended it out using just a paintbrush. So I laid it down with a thin paintbrush, and then with a slightly fluffier paintbrush I blended it out with that, adding a little bit of water when needed because sometimes this dries really fast and that makes it a lot harder to blend. I should also note that I applied a clear coat of glossy spray paint before doing the shading, and I applied one more after doing the shading to seal it all up. The last thing left for me to do was to glue in some resin gems. I made these gems out of resin, as I just mentioned, and I used this clear blue film to color it rather than my go-to food dye method, just because I wanted to try something new, and it was a total failure. There's air bubbles and it kind of warped the gem from if you look at it from the side. However, you can't really see that once it's glued into place. So I just decided to stick with it because otherwise it was going to be way too much money wasted, because resin is expensive and I used a lot of it for these gems. I also used egg-shaped molds, silicone molds specifically, that I found on Amazon to get the different sized gems that I needed. And I used a lot of hot glue to glue this into place. And that finishes this piece. I hope you guys found this video helpful. Thanks for watching. Have a lovely day, and bye. Also stick around to see more videos from this build. Okay, now bye.